like to call the meeting to order. Mrs. Burns, roll call, please.
Mr. Sullivan?
Present.
Mrs. Hellenbeck?
Present.
Mrs. Brochus?
Here.
Mrs. Egan?
Present.
Mr. Kraus?
Here.
Mrs. Marshall?
Here.
Mr. McGoldrick?
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez? Ms. Walbeezer is absent with prior notice. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led tonight by Shane Keeler. Shane, come on up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters related to a confidential student-related matters, safety and security, and to review information regarding the George School pilot agreement on tonight's agenda. Mrs. Burns, any announcements?
No announcements.
Mr. Bowman, Superintendent's report?
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Got a lengthy one tonight. I want to start by thanking our facilities crew for stepping up to deal with a major winter storm yet again. After the snow was finally disappearing after the last round, we were hit by one of the biggest storms we have seen around here in years. But just like last time, our snow crews were out in the thick of it, taking care of our roads, our parking lots, our sidewalks, and making sure our buildings and grounds were safe. I also want to thank our teachers and Neshaminy families as we stepped into asynchronous online learning today. Now that we've used up our 2 traditional snow days, I realize it's been a while since we needed to utilize our online learning plans, and I appreciate the efforts on both sides. Despite the weather, it's been a busy month for student achievement at the high school. First, congratulations to Minithon team for setting a new donation record of $82,428.97 for this year's drive, which is over $12,000 more than last year's donation, which was a record setter at the time. The kids organized multiple creative fundraisers in and out of school, and we're proud of their efforts to help fight against pediatric cancer. Also, congratulations to senior Michael Eckert, who was chosen as a quarterback for the Big 33 football team by the Pennsylvania Scholastic Football Coaches Association. This is a humongous honor, fitting to the finale of his stellar football career here at Neshaminy High School. The Big 33 game will be played on Sunday, May 24th. We look forward to seeing him represent Neshaminy as the Pennsylvania All-State team takes on the All-State team from Maryland. Congratulations to 12 Neshaminy students who received first place recognition at the recent Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science competition in Bensalem last week. They and their projects will be moving on to the state competition held at Penn State in May. We have 14 Neshaminy High School artists who will have artworks featured in the prestigious Pennsylvania State Education Association Touch the Future art exhibit. They will be recognized when the show opens in Montgomery County Community College this Sunday, and we congratulate them on their skill and creativity. And one more recognition for the Carl Sandburg 8th grade student Kyle Graves, whose original music composition, Into the North Sea, was chosen to be showcased at the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association annual meeting in April. Another big honor for one of our students and a point of pride for him and the Neshaminy School District. And finally, it's gym night week, and we are looking forward to partying the colors this Friday evening. I know the red and blue teams have been working hard on this year's edition, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have accomplished. The theme this year is Inventions with Intentions. And Mr. Sullivan, at this time, I'd like to turn things over to Jan King and Dave Heaney for a special recognition. And for those of you who know Jan, she promised she would stay under 15 minutes of talking.
Oh, it was blue, but now it's red. So he did threaten to turn it off on me, so I'll just give you a heads up on that. So, hello everyone. I'm Jan King, a retired Neshaminy High School teacher and president of the Neshaminy Education Foundation. Behind me are 3 more of our Education Foundation members. Dave Heaney, who is also retired from the high school, and he is the secretary of the foundation. Susie Drake, who is our liaison from the NFT, and Chris Stanley, who is just amazing, as we all know. Tonight, we're here to recognize a very generous donation of $10,000. It was a memorial donation to the foundation from the children of Bill and Barb Epting, both of whom were teachers at Neshaminy Middle School. Both Dave and I had the opportunity to teach with both of them and teach their children. So this is like a very circular moment for us. Bill taught English at the district for over 30 years and also coached cross country and track. Barb, after raising the couple's 4 children, Patty, Caroline, Tim, and Chris, returned to college and earned a history degree and her teaching certificate. She joined Bill at Neshaminy Middle School as a history teacher. Both Bill and Barb were beloved by their colleagues at Neshaminy, many of whom they counted as their close friends. Both touched the lives of countless students who had the fortune to encounter them in class or on the athletic field. Both deeply believed in service to others, serving as volunteers in their church, Our Lady of Grace, and other groups in the community. Both were heavily involved with Habitat for Humanity, spending time in the New Jersey, Louisiana, and Florida, building houses and mentoring college students for the group. Bill passed away in 2022, and Barb in November of 2024. Beside their 4 children and their spouses, they also have 8 grandchildren. Along with the donation check, Caroline sent a card, which I would like to read to you. Please accept this donation in memory of Bill and Barb Epting, who spent their careers in the Neshaminy School District. On behalf of my brother and sisters, we are making this donation to honor both of them. We hope these funds will be used to help teachers with classroom expenses. Teachers give so much. On behalf of the Neshaminy Education Foundation, all of us and the extended group, we gratefully accept this donation. I know how proud that the Eptings were of their children and their families, and I believe that Bill and Barb would have been very pleased with their generous gesture and that it will help teachers in this district that they loved so very much. So to the Epting family, and I think they're watching, thank you so very much. We loved your parents and very happy to accept this donation, and we will do the best that we can for the teachers at Neshaminy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to add to that quickly. I've been fortunate and privileged to know the Epting family for literally my entire life, 50 plus years. Been a local family, lived in Langhorne their entire, the children's entire lives. 4 Neshaminy graduates, all very successful careers, and on top of great kids and the parents being great teachers, the entire family are just great people. So I would like to thank them for this donation as well, and we will make sure that it goes to supporting teachers in the classroom as they would like to see.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, that brings us to the first public comment period before I turn it over to Ms. Burns. Mrs. Marshall?
A friendly reminder, all regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. Since the board desires to be a good listener and be responsive to the community, persons desiring to address the board may do so during the time so allotted on the agenda and according to established procedures. During the audience portion of each board meeting, members of the public are invited by the president to speak for or against any proposal on the agenda or on any other school concern. At the discretion of the board president, board members, or appropriate administrators may respond to questions from the public. The individual is asked to identify him or herself, the area in which he or she lives, and your occupation. Please limit comments to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Marshall. Mrs. Burns?
Christopher Lyman.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Lyman. I'm the parent of two, soon to be three kids at Core Creek Elementary. And just to start, I want to say what a wonderful experience, our experience has been so far at Neshaminy. Both my kids have started reading partway through first grade, and they love it, and this is a great community. So just want to start with that. But my public comment revolves around what I believe to be the over-reliance on technology in the curriculum. All right. So I put together a brief summary here of several studies and other articles and other things that I've been reading, books and such. But essentially, what it comes down to is there's a number of very large studies, the PISA, the TIMSS, which studies math and science, and PIRLS, which studies reading. All of these studies have now pointed to the unfortunate and very sad fact that Gen Z is the first generation to score below the previous generation on every single metric tracked. What's worse is they score higher on confidence. So we have a generation that is less capable of critical thought and yet overconfident in their ability in that thought. I love this country, all right? I want to see it be better than what it was in the past and what it is right now. And I don't think what I just said is a recipe to see a better future. Okay. I don't know where to start. Again, I've put together this briefing. I can certainly pass around to board members. I'm going to keep my comments brief. I'll start with one example. My first grader came home and was showing me some sort of Russian brain rot game. Okay, where it's literally just people running around screaming. He's playing this thing in school on his laptop, then playing it at home. All right, and I say, buddy, this is not good. And he says, but Dad, it's on the school computer. It has to be good. Well, now as a parent, I can no longer sit on the same side as the school because now I have to subvert your authority and say, no, it is not correct what you are accessing on the school computer. Okay. I think we could do a much better job than just giving complete open architecture, especially to the elementary school kids. Again, in this briefing, multiple studies by MIT, Stanford, that show kids who learn on screens have lower reading comprehension than those who learn on paper. Okay? When they're belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball with a teacher is where they do the best. All right? And and then with the artificial intelligence, that's another one that I wanted to touch on. I don't even know where to begin on that. None of us do. I think the people who are creating it don't know. I think the past 2 or 3 weeks, there have been at least 5 executives I've read that have stepped away from the companies these artificial intelligence companies, because they say, we are creating a monster that we're not ready for in this society. Let adults bear the brunt of that. Please don't go unleashing these artificial chatbots on our kids. Okay. I think we did a disservice to Gen Z by proliferating the screens in school. And I don't want to see that exacerbated with the proliferation of artificial intelligence. You look at other countries like Denmark, Sweden, China. China never even brought screens in, but Denmark and Sweden are all rolling back their technology initiatives. I understand this is a state thing, but just keeping it in your whatever can be done in order to try and reverse this. One of the other things that I found a little disturbing was at the end of 2025, the state of California filed a class action lawsuit against Google for Google Classroom, of which Clever, which the elementary schools do use, is a part of Google Classroom. The state of California, the Attorney General, is accusing Google of building digital fingerprints on kids starting in kindergarten. Okay? Because in the end, what these large tech companies truly profit from is information about us. And I think we need to give more consideration to the curriculum, or at least the proliferation of this ed tech. Yes, there are instances in all the studies I've read that with kids with like dyslexia and other learning disabilities, yes, these tools can be very helpful for those children, but it should be a one-off exception. I don't think it should be when a kid shows up in kindergarten, they come home with a Chromebook and a laptop. I have invited a couple other parents here who have showed up, who have showed my concerns, and I don't know where else to go. You know, it seems like as a society as a whole, we are not moving forward into a more prosperous area. And if anything, if we could just try and lay a better fertilized soil for the next generation to grow, and hopefully they can do better. And yeah, that's it. So thank you. I would love to. Yeah.
Steve Parentano.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Steve Paratano, Feasterville, self-employed. I want to thank Mr. Lyman for that presentation. That was excellent. Did a lot of good work there. As mentioned at last meeting, from your October 14, 25 Public Works action item, in your 5-paragraph motion, your last paragraph reads, "Be it further resolved that the district administration and solicitor shall conduct research, consult with stakeholders, and present a draft policy review and consideration by the Neshaminy School District at a future policy committee board meeting." Then, as I mentioned the last meeting, at that meeting, your agenda to the public stated item 2.02, district policy needs 217, 237, 817, with no additional explanation. Why does that matter? Well, the public has a right to be informed. In a case dating from 1993, Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court ruled in Reading Eagle Company versus Council, that to permit generalized would frustrate the very purpose of the act relating to the Sunshine Act. It is advisable to use the same standard for agendas, whereby the description of the agenda item must be of sufficient specificity to inform that there is in reality a specific discrete matter or area which the board has determined should be discussed, deliberated, or decided by a official or future official action. In sum, avoid general cryptic terms and provide as many specifics and concrete data as possible. Now, I don't believe that's been overturned by the recent Supreme Court decision regarding change of agendas at meeting. That's a very important construct to inform the public of access to their government. At the last meeting, the superintendent answered questions stating he was not involved in its construction. We were asked about what stakeholders were there. No stakeholders were said to be there. Members commented that they formulated it with the solicitor, which I'm sure that you did. Your discussion revolved around that you've talked to other school boards, that you believe it will save money, that you feel there might be some educational benefits of doing such. Not anything of substance or specificity to indicate that any research was done at any level to prove any of those things. Will it save money? Will it generate better quality on jobs? Will it produce less change orders? As we discussed, nobody heard any different in comments. Change orders are design problems. I haven't seen a contractor yet cause a change order problem. Quality, well, we've done a lot of work here. Have there been some quality issues? Sure, very few. In an environment where you're now looking at year-to-year Act 1 increases, and you want to implement a policy that will basically raise costs to taxpayers, I think it's important that we remember that the students come first, their needs come first, then the taxpayers' needs come first, come second after that, who pay for everything. It's important that you discuss these things. Why a $500,000 limit? $500,000 to trigger this is way too low. Okay, in one of your sections you have Section 3, subparagraph F, the firm, construction managers, general contractors, or other lead primary contractors responsible for the project shall ensure at least 70%. Well, by construction managers, does that mean that the board's construction manager is included in that? That's not explained in any specificity anywhere who would be contained in that policy. Then you have another provision on another page. Where is it here? Just give me a second. Contractor responsibility determination 5. In the event that the school district determines that a prospective subcontractor does not meet the qualification standards included in this policy, or does not otherwise qualify as a responsible contractor, it may, after informing the prospective awardees, exercise one of the following options. And one of those options is B, required to the awardee to self-perform the work in question if the firm has been required experience, license, or other qualifications to perform work in the question of. I have no idea what that means. Does that mean any contractor is now liable? Not liable, available for the work? Does that mean that you would have to resolicit bids instead of not soliciting all the competitive bids first? So, like I said before, there's some good things in this policy. I'm not telling you to do it, don't do it. I'm telling you to have the discussion. And from what's been displayed in public, there has been no real discussion. The committee meeting seems to be devoid of any substance. It was definitely defective in advertising to the public, which I asked the solicitor that he should make a determination whether or not there was a sunshine rule violation or not. And if that's such, you should definitely table this policy, have more discussion, and get more input from stakeholders like me, who would have loved to attend it if I would have known that something of that nature was on the agenda, and it wasn't. So I leave that up for your future deliberation. Thank you.
John Allen.
Good evening, everyone. John Allen, Quincy Hollow, Levittown, former board member, former president of the tech board, etc. You know who I am. I am a general contractor, electromechanical contractor. Came tonight to speak on the policy issue as I read it about the responsible contractor ordinance. I just wanted to speak in favor of it. Whether you choose, as Mr. Piratano had suggested, to table and discuss it further is irrelevant to my comments tonight. I'm speaking in favor of it for a number of good reasons. As I've said, sitting here many, many times representing the tech school, we are in trouble in this country. Skilled labor, guys like me, are retiring at phenomenal numbers, and we're not being replaced. And that's largely due to academia for pushing our students into going into college, white collar jobs, which is perfectly fine, but they left blue collar behind. And it's showing up now. It's been coming decades, but now it's hitting crisis. The large majority of trade unions and trade associations are in favor of these type of requirements on large projects, especially public works projects, because it separates the wheat from the chaff. It also encourages guys that are large contractors to be responsible, to hire skilled labor, and to train the next generation of skilled labor. That's the while trade unions, it's baked into them by nature. But I said non-union, it has become mandatory in a lot of the big projects I've been on, that I've worked as a subcontractor with. Now, other points that are good in this: making sure that the contractor doesn't have any marks against him. He's not sitting in court fighting because something he built collapsed. The fact that you're insisting that you see his certificate of general liability. I can't tell you how many number of jobs I carry general liability just because. And so many jobs that I work on, hospitals in the city, large ones, you know them, never asked to see it. And it just amazes me. What I'm trying to get at is what we're trying to stop are the contractors who drive down to Home Depot and pick up day labor and throw them on jobs because they bid on the job they don't have the manpower for, and they need warm bodies, whether the guy knows what he's doing or not. This is happening. And it's happening because of the lack of skilled labor. So that is the most important part that I love about your policy, that you're encouraging training on hand. I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say about that, other than I think the 500,000, $500,000 threshold is fine. You've left yourselves outs that you're not talking about an emergency. You know, you need lighting fixed. You can grab a guy, local guy, who certainly isn't going to have thousands of guys working for him and a training program in hand, but you've left yourself the out that you can call him in. On the other hand, though, if you are bidding on a large $500,000 project, why would you want a contractor who doesn't meet all those requirements? You don't want that guy on your job. I think that's all I have to say on the issue. I encourage you to, if you need to talk it over further, that's on you, but I liked it as written, personally. Thank you. Good night.
No further signups.
Okay, that brings us to section 2, routine matters. I'd like to make a master motion to approve item 2.01 minutes, 2.02 treasurer's report, 2.03 check register and procurement card purchases, 2.04 investments, 2.05 exonerations, 2.06 budget transfers. There's a motion on the floor. Can I get a second? Second by Mrs. Brochus. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Personnel. 3.01, I'd like to make a master motion to approve 3.01 appointments new hires, 3.02 appointments rehires, 3.03 appointments reclassifications, 3.04 retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 3.05 leaves of absence, 3.06 tenure, 3.07 co-curricular and ancillary assignments, and 3.08 addendum for ASS for pupil services consultant. There's a motion on the floor. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hollenbeck. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Sullivan, I would just like to point out, Mr. John McGinley retiring with 33 years of service, and Miss Abby Thomas with 30 years of service. Thank you for your dedication to Neshaminy.
Thank you, Mrs. Hollenbeck, for pointing that out. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Master motion passes 8-0. Business operations, Mrs. Hollenbeck.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I would like to make a master motion for 4.01 George School Payment in lieu of Taxes Agreement and 4.02 MCIU SAP Program Review.
We have a master motion on the floor. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Rodriguez. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Master motion passes 8-0. Okay. Educational
else.
development, Mr. Rodriguez. Future meetings, we have a
Thank you,
meeting
Mr.
on
Sullivan. I'd
February
like to make a
10th.
motion for
In this room, it's a public work
5.01
session.
overnight
And then the
trips,
board
whereas
meeting is
according to
February
board policy
24th in this room at
618,
7 p.m.
trips extending
There's a
overnight
business
are
operations
prevented by
committee meeting
authorization
on March 18th
of the
at
Board of
6:30 in
School
this room.
Directors only.
And an
Now
educational
therefore be
development
resolved
meeting
that
on
the
Tuesday,
Neshaminy
March
Board
3rd
of
at
School
6:30 in
Directors
this
hereby
room.
approves the
And the
following
final one is a
overnight
policy
trips.
committee
There
meeting
are
on
4.
Thursday, March 19th at 6:30 p.m. That being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mrs. Marshall. There's a motion. All in favor? Aye. Second by Mr. McGoldrick. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Brings us to policy. I'm going to pull out policy 8117, responsible contractor. And I'll make a master motion for item 217, 237, 1052, 204, 218.1, 610, and 611. So as whereas the first reading of policies listed below and the ones I just mentioned was completed on January 27th, 2026 public board meeting. And whereas the board policies listed below are being recommended by a policy second reading and final adoption into the Neshaminy School District Policy Manual, therefore be it resolved that Neshaminy School Board of Directors review the policies listed below and recommend final adoption into the Neshaminy School District Policy. Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Goldrick. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 8-0. Then we'll go to the second reading of policy 817, responsible contract. Whereas the first reading of the policy listed below, and one I just mentioned, was completed on January 27th, 2026 public board meeting. And whereas the board policy just listed are being recommended by a policy second reading and final adoption into the Neshaminy School District Policy Manual, now therefore be resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors review the policy listed below and recommend final adoption into the Neshaminy School District Policy. Can I get a second? Second by Mrs. Marshall. Any comments or questions? Oh.
I'd like to, I don't think I'm past the point of making a motion to have this being held for the next meeting to give us a little more time to evaluate everything that's been said tonight, been said at our last meeting, just to get more clarification for the board as well as for our taxpayers.
So you're making a motion to ask that it be tabled?
Correct.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mrs. Hollenbeck. Need a roll call, John?
There's no discussion on the motion to table, but you do need 6 votes.
So, do you need a roll call or no?
Do a roll call.
Okay.
I'm feeling you're in favor.
Okay.
Mrs. Brochus? This is the table.
No to table, yes to table?
Yeah, a yes vote is to table it. No vote is to move forward.
It's not to, I just want to clarify, it's not to like discard the policy, it's just to table it to have further discussion about it and revisit it
It's
at
a
a future.
motion to table a vote on policy 817 tonight.
Okay. And a yes is,
To table.
yes is to table.
No. Mrs. Egan?
No.
Mrs. Hollenbeck?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
No.
Mrs. Marshall?
No.
Mr. McGoldrick?
No.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Sullivan?
No.
6 no, 2 yes.
Okay, so motion isn't tabled, and we will move forward. So now there was a motion on the floor for the policy.
That's
Yep.
correct.
Now I need a second for that.
That's correct.
Second, Egan. All in favor?
Wait, I have some comments. I can still make comments about the,
You can make comment on the
original
adoption
motion.
of-
Yeah, which is what I
adoption of
originally,
817, yes.
which is what I originally wanted to do. Yeah, I just have some quick comments on this. Never mind the fact that we as a board did not follow the motion that we approved back in October. We flat out didn't follow what we said we were going to do back in October, and we should have, in my opinion. We were told at the last meeting that this is how it's always done in policy committee, and I respectfully disagree with that. In all of my time on the board, I've never seen a policy instituted without administration feedback at all. I don't even think I've been on the board when a new policy has been instituted with one meeting. We had one policy meeting and a brand new policy was instituted, went to first reading, going to second reading. It's going to be approved in a minute with no district administration who we pay to run our district. We're going to save money. We're going to have education for the kids. We're going to have new change orders. Never mind all of those facts. Once this is approved, I have some serious questions about the policy itself. Like, for example, the public review process, section 1, how's it going to be done? Section 2, where is it going to be done? These are questions that district administration should be able to answer because they were involved in the policy making itself. But guess what? They weren't. My issue is not with this policy at all. There are some things that I like about the policy. There are some things that I have questions about that have never been answered. I've been stymied at every turn to get information about some of the questions that I have. And that is my biggest issue. And I just want that on the record, that we did not follow the motion that we as a board approved in November to get this policy approved. So, thank you.
I think it was just approved, correct?
No, you didn't take
There-
it.
there-
There's still
okay.
discussion, you're gonna need a roll call vote.
Okay. Anyone else? Mrs. Burns, roll call?
Mrs. Brochus? Yes. Mrs. Egan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hallenbeck?
No.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Marshall? Yes. Mr. McGoldrick?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
6 yes, 2 no.
Okay. Now we come to the closing of the meeting. Other board business? We come to the second public comment period.
Thank you. Stephen Peritano, self-employed, Feasterville. That was appalling that a board that handles $226 million of the taxpayers' money would do what you just did. I got involved in this district way back when because that's what all the other boards used to do. I didn't come up here and tell you not to pass it. Mr. Allen told you to pass it, but also Mr. Allen said, you can talk about it if you want to. You violated the Sunshine Act. Now, whether or not your solicitor is giving you an opinion on that or not, you've done it. Okay? You violated a board action by not carrying through on the board action. I mean, these are all legitimate items for a challenge. And it's irreprehensible that you would conduct yourselves in this manner. It was an easy thing to do. Have the discussion you told the public you were going to have. That's all I asked for. But you stuck your feet in the ground. You're right. Everybody else is wrong. So now we'll find out whether you were right or not. I mean, it's really, really appalling. After the years that we fought for transparency, and this is what the board has turned into. Every year going forward, you're going to be hitting the public with Act 1 tax increases because you just can't keep pace. The new money you got coming online is not going to keep pace with what's going on in this district. You're going to have to bring in EIT. You're not going to have a choice. You're going to have to do that. You're not going to be able to raise enough money to keep this going. You can't raise enough money even with the new money coming in just to pay for the last teacher's contract. You got serious issues, and you play around and you play games with a policy like this, which is just ridiculous. It's beneath you all. It's beneath you all. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves the way you conduct policy here. Blatantly disregard the Sunshine Act. Blatantly disregard your own motion. That's what's even more upsetting about it. You went to the extent to pass a motion, never done in Neshaminy history before, to generate a policy, and then you violated the words that are in your motion. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's really disgusting.
Good evening, everyone. Shocking, I'm not going to comment on that last. I wanted to make sure that the first gentleman's comments weren't lost. He had some really good points. And I wanted to mention, when I was growing up with my father, remember my father taught at tech school. And I remember him saying one time, when I was complaining about homework for the 1,000th time, and it actually came up in conversation where he said, how do you think you retain knowledge? More by reading, or a teacher with a chalkboard, or watching those film strips that you keep talking about you'd rather do all day? And at the time, he was training for his teacher certification. He was going to all these night classes and colleges. So, just saying, this is back in the 70s, late 70s, and studies were showing that children were retaining more with a teacher in front of the room with a chalkboard. Today, we even have whiteboards than they do with a lot of the technology that was coming out at the time. That has always somewhat stuck in my brain on that. And I thought this gentleman who spoke earlier brought some really good points up about that. I don't know the answers. I don't know where we're going. I don't think we're squashing technology, but I think it's worth looking into. I just wanted to add to that comment.
Okay, that brings us to the board comment section. Anyone with board comment? We'll probably go now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I have two quick things. First, to the gentleman, Chris Lyman, that you spoke about everything. I highly recommend that you go to an education meeting because that's where more open discussion and conversation happens. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't happen in every policy meeting or every committee meeting, but education is usually more engaging, and the people there that they'll be able to help you better with what's coming and what the plans are. So I highly recommend that. Last but not least, one of my favorite events of all year, this weekend, gym night. Go red. Although, really, go blue. Go blue. Everybody have a great time, and I hope everybody enjoys it. And yes, while it's a nice friendly competition between red and blue, everybody does need to remember that we're all really purple. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I have some. I know it's board comment, but it was
Well, you
great.
can make it.
Okay. There was some comment about the Sunshine Act during public comment, first round, second round. It's my opinion that there was no Sunshine Act violation, just so you're clear. It was on the policy agenda, it was on the January 27th agenda, and it was on tonight's agenda. So it was posted on the agenda, it wasn't approved at a meeting outside of a public meeting. So with respect to the contents of the agenda on those meetings, I think it was sufficient. So if anyone had a question about that, you can ask me now or later or next week.
Since you brought it up, I mean, I don't necessarily agree that it was I didn't even say that it was a violation of the Sunshine Act, but why would we as a board make a motion and word it in such a way and not follow it as a board?
If that's the case, it wasn't followed, that's a board, that's what the board did. It's not, it has nothing to do with the Sunshine Act.
So we didn't violate Sunshine, we just didn't do what we said we were going to do, basically.
I only commented on the Sunshine Act, okay?
Okay, anyone else?
Mr. Sullivan, I'd like to make a comment. I just wanted to say that under policy meetings, there was discussion. We did conduct research, and that was open to the public, so anybody could have attended that. And I look forward to working with the district to ensure proper enforcement of the RCO. As good stewards of taxpayer funds, it is so important that we vet our contractors and to ensure that with that apprenticeship part in it, that we have skilled labor who have also been vetted and taught under the apprenticeship program. So I look forward to working with the district and ensuring enforcement with that. Thank you.
Okay. That brings us to our future meetings. Art, did you have something? Text.
It's a little blurb about, I have to bring it up though, give me 1 second. A little blurb for Bucks County Technical High School. They were honored to serve as the host site for this year's Skills USA District Competition. It welcomed students, instructors, and judges, and industry professionals from across the region for a day dedicated to skill, teamwork, and career excellence. The event showcased a wide range of technical and leadership competitions, highlighting the talent, preparation, and professionalism of students enrolled in career and technical education programs. What's more interesting was that Bucks County Technical High School actually was awarded with 60 medals out of the region of all the competitors that came down for this event. So congratulations to all the winners. And I believe the next competition, the state one, will be held pretty soon. I'll get the date for you for the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. I saw it brought a smile to Mr. Allen's face sitting over there. Yeah. All right. The next public work session will be March 10th in this room at 7 p.m. There's a public board meeting in this room on March 24th at 7. Business Operations Committee meeting in this room on March 18th at 6:30. Educational Development on March 3rd, 6:30 in this room, and a Policy Committee meeting on Thursday, March 19th at 6:30 in this room. Oh, okay. That being, make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second? Second by Mrs. Hollenbeck. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 8-0.